I want to first start and talk about those that have left the professional law enforcement. Some people in the community think that what they did was wrong or they shouldn't leave. But one of the things I have to get you to understand, though, is that I am not knocking anybody that has left law enforcement during this time period at all. Because at the end of the day, one of the most important things to any man, and hear me clearly, any man, meaning human being, and I'm just using the word man just for the sake of the example here, but any man is your relationship with God, one, but your family. And if your quality of life with your family starts to become compromised or jeopardized because of the job you do, I will never be mad at a person for leaving this job because their quality of life at home is starting to suffer from it. And there are a lot of people right now that have left this profession simply because they believe that it is the risk versus reward is no longer worth it. And I can understand that. There are places in our society right now where police officers do not make a lot of money. They're not treated the way they should be treated. The amount of liability that they face as opposed to what they're going to gain, it doesn't make it worth it. And so at the end of the day, I hate to say this, but the job of law, I've said it before and it still remains true that law enforcement is the calling. That is still true. But at the same time, the job of police officer, at the end of the day, it's still a job, and your family and your friends are going to suffer if you're not happy. And so if you've left this job, I don't ever want you to feel bad that you left. I don't want people to make you feel bad. You had a decision to make. You served your time, and now just trust and believe that God is calling you in to do something else that's different. The only thing I would ask for you is that whatever he's asking you to do now, just make sure you do it to the best of your ability with still that desire that you have from day one, which is to serve people. And you can do that in whatever industry. Go ahead, AJ.
I had a talk with a pretty good friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name because we have mutual friends who listen to this podcast. But he is leaving the profession, like as a whole. Like he's like walking away from the job. He's not transferring to another department. Like he's like legit just quitting law enforcement. And it was surprising for me because this individual was like one of those guys that like lived, breathed, slept like law enforcement, like was always working, always like texting about stuff going on at work, getting intel like at all times of the night, all times of the day type of guy. And I had a talk with him and he's like, I need to do this for my mental health, but I don't want to do it because I'm afraid that I'm not going to find another job that I love. And we had that exact same conversation. I was like, look, like you have to put yourself before like any of this. Like you have to put like your mental health, like you have to put like your family, like the relationship with your family and all that, like before this job. And you can't forget that. And he ended up walking away from it and he's a lot happier now. Like he is a lot happier. So I don't feel any type of way for anybody that's walked away from this job. At least in a positive manner. There are individuals who have walked away from this job and they've left a stain on their profession. That's a different talk. Like, that's completely different. But for individuals who left this job because of everything that's going on in the world right now, I'm glad that you were man enough or woman enough to know that it was your time and to walk away, because you could have stayed and something could have happened and that could have pushed you over the edge, towards like harming yourself or harming somebody else. You could have stayed and been so stressed and so worked up at work that you could have faced a critical incident and did something that you normally wouldn't do. Like you made the right decision at the end of the day. Rock with it. And like Ryan said, like wherever you're at now in your life, commit fully to what you're doing and focus on the run, like focus on the marathon. Like you ain't crossed the finish line yet. Like stay focused on the marathon. So,
yep.
You hit the nail right on the head with that.